everybody, I'm Rose Smith from AbsoluteSoulSecrets.com. I've got the Aquarius March 2024 horoscope. Okay, we're going to draw 2 tarot cards as theme cards for the month for you. Let's go to the board right now. Okay, here's your horoscope. We'll come to in a moment. But firstly, the 2 cards. I'm closing my eyes. What do I see for Aquarius? Okay, it's like a diary. The page is unfurling very quickly in front of me. There could be a lot of diary dates or diary entries that you have to deal with in March, okay? So lots of appointments, things that you're doing, socialising, jobs, things that have to be done, okay? It's all about getting organised, isn't it? And so paperwork could be a bit of a thing for you this month. Let's have a look, and the card we get is the Emperor card. Isn't that interesting? When I held the cards up at the beginning, this was the card that was on the front, like this, when I held them up. The Emperor. Okay, this is someone who likes to be in control. That's an understatement. So they can be judged as being a bit dominating. Sometimes, you know, certain people might like this because they might think that at least they know the rules and they feel safe and comfortable when they know the rules. However, this probably doesn't go with your personality, dear Aquarius, because having the co-ruler Uranus, there's this sort of rebellious streak to do things your own way. I totally agree. And my husband's an Aquarius, in fact. And so, yes, I understand that you don't like people telling you what to do. So this could be also not only a person, but a government instrumentality, laying the law down and telling you what you've got to do and not do. You just have to follow the rules. That's the answer, the long and the short of it. This could also be an energy in you. So although you don't like being told what to do, maybe you don't mind telling people what to do. Okay, so if you're falling into that camp, maybe just become aware of that. It's a major arcana card, so it's fairly important. The other thing about this card is at least this energy tends to get things done. Okay, the second half of the month, what do I see for Aquarius? The door closing in front of me, suggesting you're cutting off from something, moving away from a past habit or a past situation or relationship maybe. The card that comes up around this, I'm also getting blue and green, so growth, but also communications around that growth. Okay, the card that comes up is the Knight of Cups. Time for socializing, getting out, exploring your feelings, okay? And sometimes we tend to put our feelings down, and even though you're an air sign, there is a lot of water underneath, a lot of emotion that you hold. That's why your glyph is the water bearer, because you hold your emotions generally. You don't let everything out that you're thinking about or that you're experiencing. This, however, could be the sign that you need in order to allow those emotions to run freely, flow freely. Go out and have a fun time and see how you feel about various matters. Okay, I'll just put that. The cards are sort of sticking. Anyway, okay, here's your horoscope, and we're going to look at that right now. So I'm going to make this bigger, like that, voila, and keep these cards in mind as well. Okay, the first thing to note, on the 1st of March, the very first day, the energies of the Moon, Uranus, your co-ruler, and Venus are forming what's called a T-squared. This is a bit of a challenging aspect, but it can have a positive result in the end. T-squares are something that you work with, and you gradually overcome these challenges. So like I said, it can be positive in the end. The Moon is here in your career zone or authority zone, those authority figures, hence this one. Could be an employer, it could also be a parent or somebody in your public life that is an authority figure telling you what to do. And it is also conjunct your MC, so your direction in life, so it's fairly important. So there could be something on the 1st, it only lasts a few hours, but do be careful if you're dealing with authority figures on that day, because they're probably going to tell you to do something which you may or may not like. Within hours, the moon will move on and this pattern won't exist, okay? Another thing interesting to note is that we have most of the planets in the first quadrant or first triplicity of the chart, and this is indicating that a lot of energy is around you. It's all about you, what you think, your personality, your money, the way that you communicate with the outside world, and so on. So with Pluto here, Mars and Venus here, and Mars and Venus are conjunct, which is sort of good in a way because it's sort of like the masculine and feminine energy, and it could be that you're getting the balance of both. So it could be really a good way of balancing up your opposite energies, and the way that you portray yourself to the world, what is perceived about you. You know, you might come across as being quite well balanced and well rounded. Pluto can represent death, life, birth, rebirth, and a ton of other things that are very, very deep, you know, including control and manipulation. So this could be the control and manipulation here in this card. Okay, so the next thing to note is the new moon is in Pisces on the 10th. There's a lot happening here in your finances, personal finances. It's also your possessions and your value systems, the things that you believe are valuable or worthwhile. So new beginnings around finances are on the cards. The lunar eclipse is in Libra on the 25th up here in your house of the higher mind. So it's like your thoughts are getting a bit of a shake-up, especially regarding the way that you grow your life. You know, this is like seeking higher or wider horizons. It's like realizing that there's a much bigger, wider world out there, and it's time for you to have your share and find your place in that wider world. The lunar eclipse will be at some point conjunct this south node, and so it's the time to ask yourself about your history, your experience, what you've done in the past belief patterns that you may have had, and are they holding you back from exploring the world, you know, from getting out there and doing more and understanding more. This house of the higher mind is also about philosophy. It's about your spirituality. Sometimes it indicates that you may travel, or that you're dealing with foreign people or exotic people as a way of broadening your outlook. In Libra, by the way, it's also likely to be very polite and smooth flowing and avoid confrontation. It's possible, if you are traveling overseas, that you could meet someone special. However, the lunar eclipse does give your world view a bit of a shake-up, okay? So you're being asked to reform your beliefs, perhaps, question mark. Mercury is in Aries on the 9th, and so here in your house of communications, and with Mercury here, there is bound to be a lot of communications and activity generally. There could be a lot of paperwork, getting things in order, studying, learning, even if it's off your own bat. It's not necessarily formalised, although formalised study can be represented by the 9th house here, which is opposite, okay? So that is possible. We also have the sun entering Aries on the 19th, bringing you inspiration, insight, enlightenment. You start to understand something much better than you had previously. And you'll see here that we have Chiron conjunct your north node. So this is basically saying that it's your destiny, your future, that a wound with regard to communications or studying, learning, is going to be disturbed perhaps, but it's being disturbed for the best of reasons, and that is to effect a healing. Bringing it up into your mind so you can think about it, and whatever little bit is not healed, you can bring the light of your awareness to that part of yourself and heal that just by looking at it. Okay, so that is good news. We have Venus going into Pisces in your second house on the 11th. Now, Venus we think of as being associated with relationships, which it is, but she also looks after your money and she loves to spend money. So do watch, of course, that you're not spending money willy-nilly. She loves you to buy all sorts of beautiful things, even if they're only trinkets, but do you need them? Okay, only you can answer that. I guess one way of dealing with Venus in the second house is to buy beautiful things that appreciate in value, such as jewellery or art or maybe vintage cars or something like that, okay? Mars is also going into Pisces on the 22nd, bringing a ton of energy towards surging forward, okay? It's more masculine, whereas Venus tends to be more feminine. But when you've got the both of them in the same house, you get the balance of the two, the receptive energy and the more masculine type of energy that is surging forward. So, you know, it's quite a good amount of energy there, and some then going into Aries, all about communications and your local area. There could be something going on close to where you live as well. So do keep a lookout for that. You may also have some contact or messages from distant family members such as cousins or perhaps siblings that you haven't heard from for a long time. There's, if you're in the southern hemisphere, there's the autumnal equinox on the 21st. This is saying get prepared for winter, get yourself organised. It might be time to bake cakes and freeze them, or make preserves, jams, do some craft work, sew, you know, knit a jumper or something like that. But prepare for winter in Australia and New Zealand. Of course, if you're in the northern hemisphere, it's your spring equinox, and this is all about planting seeds for the future so you can have abundance when you harvest in the summer months. So that might be a project or a work-related thing. Whichever hemisphere you're in, the equinoxes are all about balance. So it's the time when there's equal night and daylight hours. So it's saying reflect on your inner life, pay attention to your spiritual life, and get that balanced with what you achieve and what you manifest in the outside world. Finally, on Easter Sunday, the 31st, last day of the month, it's a time of rebirth and renewal, regardless of what religion you may or may not be. It doesn't matter if you don't even believe. Symbolically, this is a time that says that a new chapter is opening up in your life. You may have been through a hard time recently where you've had to sacrifice something, and now that is passing away and a new chapter is beginning. So rebirth and renewal. Okay, so that's it, dear Aquarius. I hope this is useful for you. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Click the notification bell so you get the notifications when I'm putting a video up. And leave a like and a comment would be fabulous. Thank you so much. Have a very wonderful month. I'm sure you all will. Thanks and bye for now.